And welcome back to another episode of the Bull and The Cub podcast. I'm your host, David.
And I'm the co-host, also David, David's dad.
Hey, and welcome back to another Bull and The Cub podcast. In today's video, we're just going to be talking about different fun facts about the stock market.
Yeah, I think the timing is right for a discussion of fun facts. It's been people been down on the stock market lately. It's been, coming down obviously with the tariff issue we talked about. Even one of our listeners had made some comments about taking his investments away from the stock market. I think BG Origin said he's going to go put money more towards construction bonds. And so some people are down a little bit right now, so we want to give a little boost. We want to do some fun facts, right, Dave? You want to go first, or you want me to throw one at you first?
I'll let you go first.
Okay, fun fact, okay? A lot of people heard the terms bull market or bear market. Bull market means when the stock market's going up for an extended period of time, and bear market when it's going down. But where do those terms come from? I thought that's an interesting fact I learned. It actually has to do with the way those animals attack, right? A bear attacks by swiping its claws down. So you think a bear is attacking downward, and that's when the stock goes down. It's a bear market. A bull swipes its horns up. So a bull attacks upward, and that's why when the stock market is going up and we're all happy, it's a bull market. Fun fact I didn't know. How about you, Dave? You got a fun fact for me?
Well, one fact I know, which people we're actually going to be talking a lot about in our cryptocurrency episode, is basically when people are trying to estimate if day traders, people not day traders, but like people who are going to stay in a stock for a long term, they try to find like the right time to buy. They can use something called the teacup strategy. It's basically using like how positioned in like the last 5 years, how the stock has been going up and down. Obviously, a new company, this is not how it is, but like you use how it's going up and down to estimate it. Basically, a teacup, it goes like down, up, and then takes a tiny dip before going up again. That's basically the general term of it. And
I had no idea that was called the teacup terminology. That's interesting. That's a good fun fact. All right, let me throw one more at you here as we keep this going. I didn't know the most expensive stock in the world is Berkshire Hathaway, valued at hundreds of thousands of dollars. Oh yeah, and maybe you give me a look like I may have stolen your fun fact there. But last I read, I didn't read it for today, it was $694,000 for a single share. Can you imagine? My goodness, some of the shares I'm buying are like 60 cents or $7 a share. Can you imagine having a stock worth hundreds of thousands of dollars for just one share? Fascinating. So, all right, may have stolen yours by the look on your face. You tell me, do you have a fun fact for me?
Yeah, I have one. This one's a little bit less interesting. It just surprised me a bit. You know how stocks split? Basically, for some companies, when they get really low, they combine their stocks.
Yeah, interesting. I didn't know it's like the reverse of a consolidation instead of a split. Oh, fascinating.
I didn't really know about that before.
Right. And we should talk about a split. We haven't talked about that before, right? But the split is the idea where, if you have, just to use some math here, if you've got, stock valued at 100 shares and you have one share of it, well, they may split the stock and cut its value and bring its value of that stock down so that more people can buy it. But in doing so, they'll give you an equal number of shares to make up for the difference. So if they cut their stock from $100 to 50, right? They cut it in half. You go from having one share to two shares. The stock split.
A bit more about that. That was a more small one, but for some companies like Chipotle, they actually were at like $6,000 or something crazy, and they did such a big stock split that went to like $60 or something.
What a massive stock split! Yeah, that was. So
it's also very good because it makes it easier for people to buy.
Right. Generally, stock split. It's a good sign when you're stock splitting there. You've hit a home run there. All right, let me throw another fact at you here. That's a good one you had. I didn't know the stock market, the actual age of the New York Stock Exchange is over 200 years old. The stock market itself is over 400 years old. But the concept of a stock market at least, but the New York Stock Exchange is over 200 years old. So it's amazing. This seems kind of a modern concept, these companies, but it's quite old, the New York Stock Exchange. Any more stocks, fun facts from you?
This is not about the stock market in general, but basically, long before this, like when you had to go to these places to trade stocks, a lot of places didn't have air conditioning, and basically, I believe it was the first, this stock exchange place was like the first place in all of Northern California,
Northern United States.
Northern United States, is to like have air conditioning. So like building wise, like a big building. So I just thought that was a bit interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. Well, I'll close this out this one. I'll say if you want to do some real fun research, check out the Somali Pirates Stock Exchange, because there's lots of different stock exchanges, right? Dow Jones, NASDAQ, but the Somali Pirates even have a stock exchange. I can't imagine what that's like to invest in if you're investing money and supporting pirates, but it is kind of interesting the things you could invest in and get a return in. It kind of is an example of the broad range of things you can invest in. Not that I'm encouraging investing in pirate work, but all right, ready to recap our game from last week?
Yeah, last week my stock didn't have much of a difference, but it went up, I believe, only 17 cents. But since it's not that big,
what was your stock again? Sorry,
it was Callaway, and it went up for $6.31 to only $6.48. I actually bought a bit into the week, so I bought it at $6. So I'm pretty happy with it going up, but we're still going from that. So how did your stock do?
Yeah, well, I'll compliment you because you had a nice week, because the stock market as a whole took a bit of a dip in the middle of the week, but yours recovered nicely to actually make a profit. Mine went down. I had kava. I stand by it. I just missed the kind of window there. It started at $85. It's down to $79 today, so I'm down $79.66. But I still think it's a great time to buy. That stock was double this price, and they're poised to open more stores and keep growing. So I think that stock's going in the right direction. The timing wasn't exactly perfect this week, but I'm all in on Kava. You ready for this week's picks?
Yeah, what are you going to pick? This week we had fun facts, so we didn't really have anything to represent what we're going to pick. What, are you thinking about something? You want me to go first?
You go first if you're ready.
Okay, honestly, yeah, I don't know if I haven't really been saying this much, but I've been investing in Amazon, and Amazon's been going down a lot. I think it went down like 50% since the market. For a big company like Amazon that like doesn't fluctuate that much, that's huge. So I feel like it's like a buy time with. Yeah, actually, I think it was like 40%, but I feel like it's time to like buy, so I'm choosing Amazon as my stock.
Okay, I respect that. That's a good one. And always obviously it's going to be around forever, so it's a good time to buy that one stock. Okay, so now it's my turn, and I'm going to, I have to admit, I was influenced by a commercial I saw for GoDaddy Arrow. And I thought it was really impressive. A lot of people know GoDaddy's a web hosting domain company, and its stock has done really well over the years, and kind of was constantly going up for quite some time, and then took a bit of a dip more recently. But it's just really impressive, the idea that they're now using AI to assist people with their websites, and just the fascinating how easy it's going to be, and it's going to attract people over to GoDaddy, I think, with that technology and using AI to create people's websites and as a web hosting service. I think GoDaddy is going to get a lot of traction from that, a lot of revenue. So I'm going with GoDaddy. Take a look at their stock. They're at $180 a share today. They did peak at $211 earlier this year, but I'm all in on the GoDaddy. It's down a little bit now. Maybe a good time to jump in on that. That was fun. All right, and thank you for listening. As always, send us a message, send us a comment, and we'll recognize the stock you want to buy and recognize how you do on our game if you end up being the winner.
Yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Bye.